Hello, and welcome to another episode of The End of the Search. This one I call it Be Yourself. What I mean by that? Have you ever heard many times when some people say, I feel like I'm not myself today? Have you heard that? Maybe you? I don't know. Well, you can never not be yourself. The problem is you may have an idea of how the image you want to portray should look like. And if I am feeling bad, I am not being myself. Yeah, you're being yourself. It just so happens that in yourself, capital S, what is appearing is a you who seems to be feeling in a particular way. But you're never not yourself. You're always yourself. Whether the appearance of somebody who's very excited or somebody who's very down or somebody who's angry or somebody who's calm, it doesn't matter. You're always yourself. You can never not be yourself. But once again, when you have an image of how you think you should look to the quote-unquote world, to quote-unquote others, now you're trying to make a self, a fictitious self, and now you want to call that yourself. See, today I'm being myself because I am feeling just energized. No, you're not being yourself because you're energized. You've always been yourself. It just so happens that in that particular moment, energize happens. You see? You're always being yourself. Just get rid of any idea of how you should look or be, and you can never not be yourself. Right now you're being yourself. In spite of what you may be feeling, or in spite of whatever feelings may be appearing, in spite of whatever thoughts may be appearing, in spite of anything, you can never not be yourself. Well, the invitation with these videos is not teaching you how to be yourself or trying to be yourself. It's pointing to the fact that you are the self. Always, no matter what. And the only thing that somehow it appears as though it's covering up the fact that you are is any thoughts that you're identified with as your thoughts, and on top of that, believing what they say. And because of that, it seems as though you are something other than yourself. But you're always yourself. It just so happens that in the self, which is what you are, all these kinds of thoughts seems to appear. All the feelings and sensations seems to appear. Sometimes you feel shy, sometimes you feel very assertive, sometimes you feel scared, sometimes you feel courageous. All of that are just simply seeming appearances in the self that you already are. You see? But if you feel that you have to be courageous, and you're not feeling courageous, I'm not being myself today. No, you've always been yourself. It just so happens that now in your script, in the movie, in your play, you're not supposed to feel courageous. You see, because we're not here putting the attention on the details of the movie, we're always remembering that we are the screen. See? Right now, tell me if you're not being. And you cannot negate the fact that you are being. I am being. The problem is you think you're being somebody or something or whatever the thought may suggest you are quote-unquote being, but the truth is that you are always being. Right now you are being. I am. This is where this is all pointing to. This is why this is simple. We're pointing to the fact that I am. Well, that is your self. Not the idea that you have about it. Now let me ask you, if there's anything wrong with yourself, what could be wrong? What could be wrong with what is? And for that matter, what could be right with what is? It's not right, it's not wrong, it simply is. And you are being. What happens when you're resting in beingness? There's not a you resting in beingness, but that is the limitation of language, and we're doing the best we can here. Language is always a limitation. So right now, beingness, which is what is. Are you not being? And the answer is, I am being. Just notice the concept that says, I am being someone who is, I am being, no, you are being. This is it. This is what this is all pointing to. So simple, so obvious. And yet so overlooked by the image or the idea of what I think I should be, what the self should be, and then what the self should do. But life is unfolding as it will anyway, because life is, and you are life. It's only when you believe you're that separate self that all these concerns, what do I do? How am I going to fix this? What's going to happen later? How am I going to do to make this happen? But all of that are just thoughts. Have you noticed that? You see, this is obvious. I mean, all these are thoughts. Future, past, it doesn't matter. You are being, you're being yourself because you are. This is it. This is what this is all pointing to. And you can see the resistance. I don't get it. Of course you won't get it because there's no one to get it. That's the point. And yet, life is. Nobody's getting life, and yet life is. You are. This is it. There's nothing to say about this. There's no need to talk about this. And yet words are used to point to the fact that you are. That's why I'm not asking for answers from you. I'm just simply pointing, can you see that you are? Right now, are you not being? You see? And in the beingness that you are, just notice how life unfolds. I don't need to know what is the next syllable that is going to come out of my mouth. I don't have to know what is the next movement that I'm going to make. I don't have to know what's going to happen throughout the day. All I know is that right now I am. Can you rest in that? No, but my mind is going crazy. The thoughts, okay, that's fine. Look at them instead of judge them. When you look at them, now there's not a problem. When you judge them, of course, you're being dragged by all of them. Or it seems as if you're being dragged by all of them. How about if instead of judging the experience, thoughts are going crazy, how about if you look at it, hey, look, movements are happening, but I am. I rest in I am. Are you not being right now? Notice that I am pointing to the obvious. I'm not asking you to do anything. It already is right now. You're being all the time. You're being whether the body may feel so good. You're being whether the body may not feel that good. You're being whether the rent is paid. You're being whether the rent is not paid. You're being whether you're hungry. You're being whether you're not hungry. You're being while you are with people. You are being while you don't seem to be with people. But if you don't judge any of those experiences, some may be comfortable, some may be uncomfortable, but what remains, the beingness that we're pointing to, is what is referred to as the peace that surpasses all understanding. This is not something very appealing to the false sense of self, you know, who wants to change things, who's never happy with what is, who thinks that things should be different, who want to hold on to a sense of identity. Is not very appealing because it asks for something. Give me something to do. I need something so I can change this, or you see. But we're not talking to the sense of identity as an individual. We're talking to the fact that you are, and to that is not that it's appealing or not appealing, is that it's freedom. You see? It's freedom from the content of the mind. It's real freedom. You're free right now. And yet, when you identify with the content of the mind and believe you're a separate entity, that freedom is not what that seeker wants. The seeker wants to believe that there's something to do, so in the future I can become what? What you already are. So you can become yourself. See, this dismantles completely all the belief structure that we have about ourselves, about who we think we are, and obviously that's why I can see there's a lot of resistance. No, this is who I am, but if I do this, I'll get this, or I'll be that, or whatever. But I'm pointing to the fact that you already are, so what is there to do in order for you to be? What is there for you to do in order for you to be, unless you're trying to make this about this world of appearances, and you're trying to do something with the world of appearances, and you want to change something in the world of appearances, then you're so caught in the dream. There's not much I can do. This will not get through. If you're in bed sleeping and you're dreaming, and you have someone next to you whispering in your ear, sweetheart, just don't put attention on the dream. It's just be here right now. Listen to my voice. Just listen to my voice. Stick to my voice. Listen to my voice until the voice is loud enough so you can begin to withdraw the attention from the dream, and you realize, oh my God, I've always been here. But if you're trying to drag the voice into the dream, okay, no, but no, I need you, come on, help me fix this. And the voice says, I have no interest in fixing anything in your dream, because that is just a hallucination. Well, this whole experience is a hallucination. And we're not negating it, we're not pretending that it's not there, it'll be ridiculous. But when you can see through the veil, now the hallucination doesn't have the power to hypnotize you. And now you see how life unfolds. You can see through the hallucination even while you're still playing the game in it. You see? But all keeps pointing to the fact that I am. That is what I mean by being yourself. You can never not be yourself. It's when you try to drag it to the person, I want to be myself. That's ridiculous. Makes no sense. You're always a self. You are being. That is being the self. Not your personal self, but that's just a way of saying being yourself. Right now. I don't want you to do any special with this. I don't want you to close your eyes and get into a particular space or so, because again, it's not that there's anything wrong with that, it's that you're missing the mark. I'm pointing to the fact that right now you are the self, this moment, right here, right this moment. Are you not being? You see? Are you not being? You see? There it is. This is it. And life will unfold as it will. And you will you'll deal with all the life experiences. Some may seem to be challenging and some may seem not to be challenging, but now you don't see them as challenging or not challenging. You see them as experiences that seems to be taking place, and yet you know that you are. And you rest in that. And you see how everything is just movements of energy, if you want to use that word. I prefer not to use any particular descriptive word because the mind always engage on it, but just movement. Sounds happen or seems to appear in you as self, as that. Sounds seems to appear. Sensation seems to appear. Thought seems to appear, and yet you remain as you are, as yourself. And well, this is inspiration that came through. I hope it served, and as always, may peace permeate the mind so that love can become evident.